People around the world have been observing International Day of Peace since 1981. The observance was established by the United Nations, and it was meant to celebrate a commitment to human rights. In 2019, the observance will also put a focus on climate action. To tell us about the local observance, September 22nd on Boston Common, is the co-chair of the Planning Committee, Ian Harrington. Thank you very much for being with us, Ian.
Well, thank you for having me.
Start with the local history, because this has been going on as an observance in Boston since, what, 2010?
That's right. In 2010, the Quaker meeting in Cambridge felt need to start a local observance of the holiday, and we did it by ourselves that year. But before the second one, we reached out for having other communities join us, and Rodney Daly of the AME Church in Cambridge joined us, and he's been co-chair with me since then. He unfortunately couldn't make it today, so you're stuck with just me today.
Well, Rodney Daly has also been well known in Boston for working with street gang members,
yes.
Trying to put them on the right path. You come out of the Quaker background. I associate that with the anti-war protests during the Vietnam era. What's the connection between those two different worlds?
Well, we're all working for the same thing, which is peace. Whether it being keeping guns off the street or having international disputes solved by diplomacy instead of military action. We're all looking to have it so that everyone can have a peaceful life and where they have the resources to live an enjoyable life.
And of course, you think back to the Declaration of Human Rights, which is sort of the spirit of the whole thing here, going back to 1948. The right to peace, it's not just about the absence of military conflict, I guess.
That's right, because you need to be free to do what you wish is really what one would want to do and what we consider peace.
What about this year's emphasis? Because there's going to be a focus on climate action. What does that have to do with peace?
Well, the United Nations decided this year's theme was climate action for peace, and the battle for the dwindling resources we have is a real cause for a lot of the conflict around the world, not just locally. And the poor and the indigenous peoples often suffer much more than others because they don't have the resources to overcome the climate obstacles or to get a hold of any of the dwindling resources.
And I guess it also means that when there's a lot of stress in those people, they sometimes have to leave their homelands and go someplace else, too.
That's true, especially if they're on an island that's going underwater. They definitely have to leave then.
For people who have not been to these observances in the past, it's usually on the Boston Common, and it's going to be there this year. What's it like?
Well, we have a varied program, a combination of hearing some people speak about the need in this year, the need for climate action, or what they are doing to help overcome the climate changes. And then we also will have people performing songs that are related to the issue, or dances that are related to the issue, or reading poetry. And so it's a wide range of activity during the program, and it draws a diverse audience because of such a variety of people speaking and performing.
Does that have an effect on you? Because you're out there with people with these different cultural backgrounds, different denominations of faith. Does that do something, does it put something in your head about the importance of peace?
Well, it's something that so many different people are working for in different ways, and we'd like to think that this is an opportunity to get some of those people together who normally don't work together. There are going to be a number of people who will be displaying things or handing out information from tables around the event to let people know what they do, and a chance for people who work along similar lines to see what each other is doing.
Right. We should mention, I think when I look at some videos of past events, I get the sense that there is a lot of music going on here. There's a lot of, I guess, liveliness too, isn't there?
Definitely. And this year we have classical cello as one of the pieces, and we have a group of children who are going to be, chorus and instruments. We're also going to have a song that was written 29 years ago, asking the question, how long until we can solve this problem? And unfortunately, it's going to be performed again this year, and we're no closer to the answer.
Right. By the way, when you look at the news today, whether it's about conflicts around the world or even things going on about countries becoming less democratic, how do you feel about that?
Very upset that people are not willing to work together. People aren't willing to share. We have more food and other resources than what we need, and if people would just be willing to share them with others, there wouldn't be all these conflicts.
Right. We should mention, I know you have some more details about this on your website, so this is going to be, is it 2 to 4 in the afternoon on the 22nd?
It's from 2 to 4, but we're starting some special prelude music starting at 1:45. And then at the close of the program, for several years now, we've closed it with the reading of a list of people who've been victims of violence over the past year. And then we walk to the nearby Garden of Peace, where there are stones with the names of victims, to conclude our program up there.
Both international and local as well.
That's right.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's been nice to see you again.